What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Barber in the Ring here, and I'm bringing you guys today a burst fade tutorial. Now, in this burst fade tutorial, I'm not going to be doing any shear work at all. I'm strictly going to be doing the fade on the sides, and I'm going to be describing to you guys in detail exactly what it is I'm doing to get the final results that you guys will see at the end of the video. Now, if you guys are having trouble doing burst fades, if you guys are having trouble with fades in general, this is the perfect video for you guys. Like I said, I'm going to be doing everything in detail, as you can see here. So without any further ado, let's get this burst fade tutorial started. As you can see here, I take my trimmers and I make my first initial guideline. So my client here asked for a mid burst fade. So with that being said, we go ahead and start our guideline at the ends of the eyebrow and we curve it directly behind the ear. I like to set my guidelines in at the same time just to ensure that both guidelines are identical. Now, immediately after doing that, I take my full shavers and I go directly below that first initial guideline that we see that we have there with trimmers. Immediately after that, we go in with our number one guard closed and we make our first guideline. Now, even though we're still going to go in with the next guard, which is a no guard open, right? I like to go in with my number one closed and clear out the area where I'm going to set the initial guideline. For me, I've seen that it is a lot cleaner. It produces a cleaner fade at the end. And overall, you can see what it is you're doing when you're doing it. Okay, our next guideline is going to be that no guard all the way open. So we're going to stretch that out about an inch length. Once we have the desired guideline, we're going to go ahead and close the lever halfway. Here you can see me work in the middle of that guideline, blending out any of those little dark spots, any inconsistencies, working my way all the way closed on the clipper, as you can see there. And then we're going to hit that bottom line where it initially was that trimmer line. Now, once we're satisfied with the result in that guideline, we're going to go ahead and grab our trimmers and we're going to provide some more detailed work to that guideline just to make sure there's no harsh lines, any inconsistencies, and we can move forward to the next step. Okay, once we finish detailing with that trimmer, we're going to take our number one again, and this time we're going to set another guideline. Yes, I know we already used the number one, but like I said, guys, I like to use this number one more so as a debulker for every step that I take, right? So I'm clearing out the next area with my number one closed, and as you can guess, if you're counting correctly while you're fading, the next guard is going to be the 0.5, or as some like to call it, the half guard, right? Hence why I'm using the number one to clear out the area, so that when I come in with my 0.5, as you can see here, everything is a lot more straightforward. Now, I immediately go in with my 0.5 guard, halfway close on the lever, and I start blending out as much as I can. I work my way down to close the lever all the way to detail completely. Now, once I'm satisfied with that line, with those guards, I move on to a number two, as you can see here. And I'm doing a little further more debulking. My client has a lot of hair around the parietal ridge. Due to his last cut, he did it himself. He didn't do a very good job, leaving me with all this bulk to clear out of the way so that I can see what I'm doing here. Now you guys will notice that with every guard that I do, I set in about an inch of width. I like doing this because I like my fades to be stretched out, to be nice and clean. This is how you avoid having a fade that is too compressed and that may seem or give the appearance that is not faded correctly. So after my number 2, the bulking guard, I go in with my number 1 all the way open, and I work that area all the way down to a number 1 closed. You can see here it immediately starts to fade out. The fade starts to come together, starts looking clean. And here I am all the way closed now, just doing a little bit more detail. Now we're going to take a little break from the fade, let the clippers cool down a little bit, and we're going to set in the C cups on the sides of our temples here. Now, when it comes to the C cups, we want to make sure that our clippers, our trimmers are zero gapped, right? They want to be gapped enough to make that crispy line, but just enough to where it's not biting the skin or breaking the skin either. So as you can see here, I didn't do too much. I simply just curved it out a little bit and boom, we have a nice crispy C cup here. This is going to make the difference of whether or not your fade looks clean, whether the transition looks smooth. It's going to highlight a lot of the dark spots. As you can see here in that little box area, I was able to point out some of the dark spots, which I'm now detailing. Typically when I'm detailing, I like to use 0.5, which is my half guard, all the way up to my number 1 guard, right? So I have my number 1 open, I'll close it all the way, and I'm only using my corners. Corner work is very, very important, guys. This is how you detail. This is how you get those lines out. This is how you make those transitions look really smooth, almost even fake. So practice this next time you guys are doing a burst fade. Corner work, corner work, corner work. It's gonna be your best friend when it comes to fading. Guarantee it. Another pro tip that I have for you guys is leaving the C cup area to the end. This way you have more control of how dark or how light you want to leave that C cup area. It's your preference, it's your client's preference. It's going to be your own style. But for me, a lot of my clients like the style that I use to leave the C cup area dark to make the fade itself have a bigger transition, have more contrast to it. Now my next step here is clipper over comb. When you guys are using clipper over comb, it's very important that you angle the comb away from the scalp, right? You guys don't want to cause any holes. You guys don't want to create any holes in the hair, especially after you have that very smooth transition. And also, guys, keeping this bulk dark but faded is what makes that transition, that contrast, a lot better with the fade. So I take off any excess bulk. I'm not digging in too much because I know that I'm going to come in with my shears and complete this blend from light to dark. Now here, as you can see, I love using my texturizing shears. I have a lot of control over the fade. I can be more creative. Again, I have more control over where I have my shears rather than when I have my clippers. Now, like I said, it's personal preference. I'm only showing you guys the way that I like to fade, right? What's worked for me. Of course, I've watched a lot of different barbers and I've pieced together my own style based on what I like and what works for me. And you guys will do the same. So here, what I'm doing is point cutting, right? It might not seem like it's doing much, but basically what I'm doing here is I'm attacking any little dark spots that I don't necessarily want to go in with my clipper and attempt to take out. Now, as I approach the end of this haircut, I'm just looking at the whole thing here. I'm looking at the dark spots. I'm getting rid of these dark spots through point cutting with my texturizing shears, and I'm just going until I'm satisfied with the result, right? I myself am very detailed. I love going back, checking my work once, twice, three times, four times, as many times as it takes, so that my clients, so that myself, I could be satisfied with the work, and I can ensure my clients coming back because they know they're going to get the same quality every time. All right, guys, that concludes my burst fade tutorial for you guys. I hope this brought value to you. I hope you guys learned a lot. I hope that you guys are able to apply this in the next burst fade that you do. Now, burst fades isn't the only thing I'm going to be showing you guys. I'm working on getting more content for you. Tapers, low fades, high fades, and some shear work so that I can show you what it is that I've learned over my years in cutting. If you guys enjoyed this video, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Turn your notifications on. I'm going to be posting a lot more here very soon. Again, thank you guys so much, and God bless.